All right. What is going on? My name is Ari, the Healing Empress, aka the Fly Goddess. All right, and I am back for the last video for the 7-day forecast. All right, next time I will be putting this shit all in one damn video. All right, let's see. All right, Sunday. Let's see what's happening Sunday. All right, so Sunday I have here something is happening fast. All right, revelation. Something is coming to the light. All right, light in the darkness. Light in the darkness. Something is being shined on something that was going on behind the scenes. All right, fairies attacking crooked people who came against you. Going through loss, depression. All right, somebody came and got defeated. All right, somebody came for you and got defeated. All right, somebody is not realizing that you are protected by shit that they cannot fucking see. All right, they're not understanding that these spiritual beings love you. All right, they love you, and they fucked up when they tried to come for you with will and trust. Bank accounts will be filled, calling you, manifesting. All right, so whatever that you are calling in is coming. You defeated these people. All right, and these people who try to stop you from having what the fuck belongs to you because they stole it from you. All right, well, they're being dealt with. Cancer and Leo is significant. Somebody is scared that you are leaving them for somebody else, or somebody is scared that you're just not fucking with them anymore. All right, somebody is wanting to commit to you. There's a baby mother that's doing spell work. All right. There is a baby mother that's doing spell work. Magician is here. Aries and Taurus. All right. Human identity. You're realizing who you are when it comes to the flesh. All right. But self-realization when it comes to the spiritual world. All right. The inner being, self and soul. All right. There's a new car here. Somebody could be getting ready to buy something. A big purchase. All right, somebody was stopping you from buying a big purchase. Fairies came out again, caught thief in action. I'm talking about Molly whopping the motherfucker, okay? Read on fairies. Read on fairies. All right, them motherfuckers. You ever seen Tinkerbell? Tinkerbell do not play. Like, they get aggressive, all right? They're like fire ants, all right? They get aggressive, all right? They're like wasps. They get aggressive. All right. Satisfaction, emotional fulfillment is here. All right. Emotional fulfillment is here. You're getting ready to receive some sort of emotional fulfillment. All right. You can trust this. Move on. All right. Moving on. Whatever this is, you can trust this. All right. Spirit is putting something together. You're getting ready to celebrate. All right. You may be doubting in the back of your head when it comes to a lot of shit. All right. Reliability, but one thing that you trust spirit, you trust God, you trust your ancestors, you trust your spiritual team. All right. And there's a decision that you're getting ready to make, and you're going to trust that you're going to make the right decision as well. All right. New beginnings, material prosperity, abundance, and manifestation is here. All right. Somebody, you are real passionate about a situation. All right. And this could be moving, traveling. Something about a decision that you're making. All right, is allowing you to be able to move forward. All right, Ace of Pentacles to a new beginning. All right, yeah, new beginning here twice. New beginning and new beginnings. All right, you're receiving wealth on this new beginning, and motherfuckers is mad. All right, because you are receiving money. You are receiving money to have this new life. Spirit is not just throwing you in a new life, but Spirit is throwing you in a life, all expenses paid. All right, challenge, competition, defense. You got a lot of people wishing they was in your motherfucking shoes. All right, you shouldn't wish you was in nobody motherfucking shoes, but you know how hard a bitch had to fight for this shit. All right, these people who's coming for you, they wanted you in this lustful energy. They wanted you bonded and bound to your past. All right. Curiosity, intellectual pursuit. But you started thinking for yourself. You started thinking outside of the box. Ambition, new beginning here again. All right. So you are definitely getting this new beginning. All right. You're definitely getting this new beginning. You're going to be surprised at what's coming towards you. All right. I'm hearing whatever the surprise is. Like I said in the previous read, 24 hours. All right. It's something about you loving yourself. It's something about you loving yourself. All right, Empress. You learn how to love yourself. You're not waiting on anybody to love you. All right, inner conflict. All right, because nobody's gonna love you like you love you. No one's gonna love you the way I do. Nobody. I can love you. Somebody was sending death magic your way when it comes to options. A third party, but the whole time they was just killing the competition. All right, they was moving people out of your way who wasn't supposed to be there. All right, and now this person is mad because you are still on your motherfucking journey. All right, receiving this unexpected money. Still. So, like I said, it's a whole bunch of movement. It's a whole bunch of movement this week. All right, coming up, and I'm glad for that because the energy has been feeling real like stagnant. All right. Yeah, somebody's getting ready to take a trip. All right. Spirit is saying let go of control issues and just let shit be. All right. God say I'll fix everything. Just let shit be. All right. Control what you can control and don't what you can't. All right. There is some bold communication coming when it comes to some travel. All right. Tower. New beginning and finances. What the fuck? There's a balance happening. Spirit is saying ground yourself. Celtic energy is significant. All right. There's a new beginning definitely happening for you. Monk. All right. You could be staying to yourself. You could be in isolation at this time, just learning who you are. All right. Past life relationship. All right. You're finding out about past life relationships. All right. You're finding out that most of these people who are in your life have been in your life for several lifetimes. All right. Playing a fucked up role every time. All right. Reconciliation. Commitment. Somebody does not want you to come together with this person in this lifetime, but you are. All right. Unexpected money is coming. I'm trying to tell you, somebody walking into a new relationship. All right, but spirit is a blessing in this relationship. What's going on, Christopher West? All right, spirit is blessing this relationship. All right, like I said, you could be separated from this person at this time. All right, but divine timing, there's an obstacle that's being removed. There's an obstacle that's being removed. All right, so something is coming real fast, and I really think that this revelation has everything to do. You said, I'm so tired and depressed. Oh, but baby, you got to fix that energy. You got to fix that energy. If you're wanting a on-the-spot reading, they are $15. All right? If you're wanting a love reading, they are $10. We don't do depressed over here. We don't do depressed. All right? Nobody's depressed over here. We rebuke that spirit. All right? We rebuke that spirit of depression. All right? Nobody over here is depressed. We may kick and scream while we going through shit, but depression, we not doing that. All right, listening in secrecy. All right, spirit could be telling you a lot of shit at this time. Community, spirit is telling you something about the community. Perseverance is here. All right, starfish. Let me get my damn card because I want to know what the fuck that said. It fell on the floor. All right, Starship is here. I said Starship. That Nicki Minaj song is significant. All right, I heard confirmation. Let's see. Wishes and sensitivity. All right, so you could be wishing that something be made more simple when it comes to you. All right, you could be wishing that something is made more simple when it comes to you. All right, God is getting ready to make something simple. All right, God is getting ready to reveal some things to you. You are very welcome. All right, yeah, long-term vision investment, something that you've been planning, a long-term goal is getting ready to be reached. All right, if you are looking for a 7-day forecast read, all right, for 7 days to know what's going on for the next 7 days whenever you book, all right, please let me know. All right, the information is in the title, and not only is it in the title, it is in the description of most of the videos. All right, email me if you have any questions. All right, I will see you.